Are you ready for the biggest upgrade the UDR has ever seen? And I'm not talking about this beautiful carbon body by Vitavon. I'm talking about the entire lower chassis area. Look at this, guys. All 7075 aluminum. This is going into this thing. There are a ton of benefits to this, and I'm going to show you on the table. Let's go. Let's get this started. Look at my brand new little spinner-rooney thing right here. Full 7075. So this is a beautiful piece. It acts like a heat sink, heat soak. It's got an area up top for the fan. I'm going to show all this to you a lot closer. This area right here is directly over the motor. The reason? You can put a fan right here to cool the motor. But all this aluminum in here, all this massive aluminum will help absorb the heat from the motor. So with all of that going on, when you're running this thing, you'll feel the heat in the bottom of the chassis, which you actually feel it in the bottom of the chassis now. But this right here will transfer that heat all throughout here. So this whole thing will be like a heat soak to help keep your heat in check. To get the battery out, I want you to look at this right here. He made a push button. Look at that. That pulls down. This right here pulls right out, and that's where your batteries go. A nice large area for that. All the areas where the links mount are super beefy. I really like this. That is just beautiful. So, and yeah, we got this area back here. We'll get all that hooked up, but all this is going in. Man, I've got so much aluminum on this. This thing is going to heat soak the world. At this point, the UDR has been out for a long time. So I have to assume you can do things like taking the body off, get the bolts here, 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 here. You got bolts on the side, you got bolts on the back. I'm assuming you know how to do all that. So I'm going to get that done. Wow. Over the years, I've abused this poor truck so much. I mean, I've jumped it like a crazy guy. I've done, oh, I feel a little bit bad now. Talk about beating something up and putting it away wet, huh? Golly, and the front sway bar, that's been broke for a while. This thing doesn't need a front sway bar. It just oh, let me show you. That's got a TP 2200 kV motor in it. Yeah, so this thing's been driven hard, put away wet. I'm just gonna go ahead and keep on digging. I guess I'll pull this off right here, but the cage has to come off of it and all that. With the cover off, let's look inside of this thing. Yep, got a Vitavon transmission. Look at that 4.2 inch long TP motor. Woo! I guess I'm gonna leave that in when I do the new skid and new belly and chassis and all that. But yeah, we got a Power Hobby 760 MG servo. Huh. All right. I'm gonna continue digging, but I gotta take the links loose. Probably just drop the whole rear suspension right off because it has to come off anyway. And just keep on digging. As I tear this thing apart, I want to tell you guys something. I've never messed up the stock spur gear. This still has the original spur gear on it. Yeah, I think I've got all the side bolts done, the bolts underneath the front bulkhead there. There we go. Now, I actually cut a hole in this. I was going to put a fan on that, but I never did. The fan's actually off the old Max 6. This is an old Max 6, let me tell you. Had to use the extensions because the TP motor got such short wires. But I got to continue taking the transmission out, the bulkhead while I'm in here. I'm going to go ahead and check the front end, make sure that's still good to go. It probably is. The chassis. Wow, that is so bad. I'm gonna do a wash scrub down on that to try to clean that up. Probably a lot of WD-40. I think I've got some Cal RC cleaner. Yeah, gonna do a little bit of work on that. This is horrible. I'm ashamed to show you guys this. It's all out. Complete disaster. Now this right here, believe it or not, is one of the very first front drive shafts. You know how you would break the plastic one? One of the very first ones I found online. I forget the name, but one of the very first ones there. And here we've got all this stuff right here. Wow. The Vitavon redesigned transmission is set up like this with the planetary, so you can get to it in the front without having to crack everything open. And the rear axle housings are the same way. As you can see right here, this gives easy access to this problematic pinion gear. The Vitavon housings actually have a larger bearing, which helps out quite a bit, but you can still get access to it right here. A lot better than the stock one where you got to take it all the way off, axles out, and split the case and all that. So it has a much better design. So I'm kind of curious what's in here. I recall that being tighter when I put it in years ago, but this is the planetary. Let's get a better look. I've got to admit, there is still some grease on the teeth. It's actually doing pretty darn good. I'm impressed. These are known for being problematic. When you get a lot of heat in the UDR, it usually comes from one of these planetaries, because like I said, you got the same exact planetary in the rear axle right over there. And then this right here is just a simple normal spur gear center diff right here. So, and it actually feels pretty good. I'm really impressed. Although I'm going to stay with a TP motor because it's just such a powerhouse, you can put a 1717 size motor in, and there is tons of room for a larger pinion gear. Yeah, plus you can also put in the smaller spur gear to get a little bit more power, or a little bit more speed, put it that way. The TP is in. Now, remember what I told you guys at the start, that all of this is like a heat soak. It can heat sink and dissipate all that wonderful heat. Well, now it goes through this, into this, down into all this bottom chassis. All of this, when this motor starts cooking, all of this is going to be warm, and that'll be heat pulled away from the motor. So that's a great thing. Plus, on the backside, we can put a little fan to kind of help facilitate that. When you get this beauty put together right here, I still have the cover to put on. Then you put the front lower bulkhead in place. And that just simply pops in right there. You take the long bolt out. You got to put that little brace back in, the steel brace. I don't know why we've got to have it there, but everything goes into place. So I'm going to go put the differential back in there, get the drive shaft set up, and get the whole front end put back on. Before you go putting this back in, make sure you got your bell crank in. I just completely assembled it without the bell crank. So yeah, make sure you put your bell crank back in. Yeah, all the bearings are good. I added more udder butter here. Things in very good shape. Now, there is an easier way to do this, and I may have to do it, but you can actually all right, that's in there. Oh, there we go, got it. But you can take the transmission loose and give yourself some wiggle room to work, but I was able to get that in there. So now that the front end is in place, beautiful. I just gotta tighten it up. If that little tune gets copyrighted, it'll be muted. So in case you don't hear anything, but yeah, it's going back together. Wow, this is amazing. Look at this thing, guys. This is incredible. It's wow. This is beyond words. Wow. Here we go. Yeah, got a little bit of work to do, but notice I cleaned it up. These parts were just simple bolt-in pieces. Nothing special about them. They're just simple bolt-in pieces. So I just got that done. The chassis, all that stuff. Now the rear suspension, I do not have the shocks on it because I want to show you guys the shocks. I run all 4 shocks on the back, just like stock, you know. These are the stock shocks. So those are those right there. These are not Traxxas. These are actually Techno Truggy shocks. So, and I did these because to me they just seem to work better. And they just seem to be better, okay? But they're super smooth, and I put this right here in here, like a secondary spring, which doesn't come into effect till about right there. So it kind of gives me like a, you can see it right there, a bit of a dual rate type spring assembly, and seems to work out pretty good. So I may have to adjust it because of the new weight of that big old belly this thing's got. Let me get these put on. All right, shocks are on. I've got a little bit ahead of myself again. The body's on, but as you guys can see, everything is in there. I want to show you guys the battery compartment. Look in this thing right here. Now, I've added some padding right here. Got these glued to the sides to kind of keep the battery protected, as well as added padding right here on the bottom of the tray. This is the part where your battery slams into when you're jumping from crazy heights and doing all the wonderful things we do. Check all of that out. Isn't that just beautiful? But the battery goes in on the next video because that's the one I'm going to drive this thing on. Check it out. Look at these fans in here. Got the Power Hobby fans all dressed up. Got the tops on them, everything ready to go. So full carbon body. I wish I would have took more time and learned how to do the urethane coating. I really wish I would have took more time on that. I guess a polishing wheel and a brand new sticker set would be needed, but anyway, it's there, full carbon. I have beat this snot out of this thing, and you know what? We wrap this up, right? Let me finish this, do my stand-up routine, and then I get right back on the stand-up routine and set up the drive. And there we have it. The new chassis is in. Massive cleanup on this thing. Luckily for me, it's time to go drive it in the next video, and the track is nice and dry. I was kind of embarrassed when I took this thing apart. It looked horrible, but I was able to show you guys what I think was the most important on this, the benefits, all that stuff like that. So in the description are links to this. Use that description, use those links, hit that subscribe, ring that bell, do all the wonderful things because it's time to power this thing up and give it a drive soon. You guys have a great day. If you're still watching, you are top shelf. You are the cream of the crop, the pick of the litter. You are phenomenal. Thank you for watching to the end of the video. It means a lot to me. Now, down below, there are links for the products you see, also for channel memberships. If you guys want to be a part, channel members get early viewing on pretty much everything that I can. So, guys, check that description. There's a lot of info down there. Thank you all for watching.